Hello everyone, welcome back. Today we are on to yellow, or I should say this week because I'm only doing these once a week. We are on to yellow for our A Berry Color house series. I guess I shouldn't be calling it a house series because I would love to do a restaurant for green or potentially purple, maybe. But I think it would be harder with purple than with green. I'm not sure. I'm gonna attempt one of those two. But I don't know how it's gonna turn out, honestly. And I'm thinking possibly some other kind of thing for blue, like a park or a community swimming pool, something of that nature for blue. I just think that that would be really cool with blue. But then again, I might get lazy and just do all houses for this series. And then for the next series, for the not main colors, like secondary colors or whatever, um, I I think I've decided on doing the apartments between San Myshuno and Evergreen Harbor. We'll do some apartment builds with that. I was gonna build, well, I still could do the rainbow um, custom apartment for rent. I could do that as well. That would probably, those two would probably carry us through the rest of the year. The thing that I like about doing these solid color builds is that you see things that you don't realize or you don't remember are there. And it makes you think about putting things together in a way that you might not have done otherwise. The only problem I see with doing this is now when I'm doing other regular builds, I have a hard time not making an entire room in one solid color, you know? So it's quite an interesting exercise for my brain in particular. I don't actually know if it works the same way in other people's brains, but for my brain in particular, it's been quite the interesting exercise. And I'm finding things that honestly I did not realize were in the game. Like tile textures. As you can see, I was just fascinated by all the different yellow tiles we had, and I was just looking at them. On a side note, the reason why I did that tile and then placed a floor and then redid the tile was because each of those sections from the rooms downstairs ended up as its own room section. I think I've mentioned this before. I think that might be where I'm going wrong with my builds and causing routing issues for my Sims, especially if I'm creating it room by room rather than creating the outline first, if that makes sense. So sometimes what I end up doing is I end up placing a square room down and then I place another square room next to it, and then I just delete the wall in between them to get sort of the shape I want by placing square objects together until I get the shape, you know? The problem with that is that creates quote unquote rooms, even if you've deleted the interior walls. And I think that's where I'm creating routing issues for my Sims, is by doing that. But anyways, I had to make that balcony all one space. Otherwise, I think it would create routing issues. So I ended up relaying the floor and then replacing the tiles. So that's what you were seeing there. I placed the kitchen first, not because I wanted to start with the main living area, but because I wasn't 100% sure how to do the upstairs windows. and I needed to know where the kitchen was going to be and how it was going to be set up. The kitchen is not finished at this point. I just put what was necessary for the setup of the windows, basically. And then I move on to actually finishing the house and then furnishing it. But it was not ever my intention to place the kitchen first, other than for window placement, if that makes sense. See, the way I used to build when I first started playing The Sims 4, I had no problems in the previous Sims games, but the way you build in the previous Sims games is a little bit different than The Sims 4. I mean, it's not so drastically different that you have to relearn how to do everything. It's still the same basic tools, but I don't know, there is just something that's different about it. The previous ones had some options that 4 doesn't have, but also were kind of more restrictive in a way, if that makes sense. I don't know how to explain it, so I'm not going to keep trying, but that is to say that when I first started playing The Sims 4, I could not build to save my life at all. And so what I would do is I would lay down the furniture that I wanted, where I wanted it, literally everything, except stuff that you couldn't put down without walls, like paintings and things like that, but major furniture. The couch, the bed, the kitchen appliances and counters, all of that kind of stuff. Even the bathroom, to some extent, I would lay the major pieces down first, and then I would build the house around the rooms. And I know that's a really weird way of doing it, but that's actually how I learned how to build in The Sims 4 initially, and I had to relearn how to build in The Sims 4 in order to make YouTube videos. So it was like starting over a fifth time, but with the same game, you know what I mean? Anyways, I just thought that was a funny story, but you can still kind of see it in my builds a little bit sometimes, because in order to visualize how things should or would go, I will place some furniture before I'm actually done with the building process. Otherwise, I just can't picture how to do the windows, how to set them up. Sometimes I'm getting better at it, though. I'm slowly painstakingly getting better at it, but I am getting better at deciding how best to set things up, like windows and even stairs. I'd say my ability to place stairs in the location where I actually want them to be and how I want them to look has gotten significantly better over the last couple of years just by doing it. Although I don't build many two-story builds. I predominantly build all one-story flat builds. Like I've mentioned in other videos, you can take the girl out of the disability, but you can't take the disability out of the girl. You can put me in a fantasy world where my disability would not affect me or the characters that I'm playing with, but my mind is always on my disability, whether I want it to be or not. And I'm always constantly aware of how things would be inaccessible if they weren't certain ways, and that's just naturally how I build. Kind of like I gravitate more towards small town and country builds, even though I absolutely love San Myshuno, because I've spent my entire life in extremely small rural towns surrounded by farms everywhere. It's everything I've ever known. You could take the girl out of the country, but you can't take the country out of the girl. You know what I'm saying? So if you're watching this video the week that it comes out, I am so excited because later this week we're getting a new expansion pack trailer and I cannot wait. I don't care that much about occults. I love having them in the game. I think they make the game more interesting and more fun, and I don't necessarily play them very often myself, although I might now. I might. I don't often play them myself, but I like having them as part of the sim world. And while I love fairies and everything having to do with fairies, the cute, glittery Tinkerbell type fairies, not the scary, mischievous fae of legend. I like the Disney version of fairies. I like, okay, we're getting fairies. Yay. Hopefully they can do something different than spellcasters. I never really put much thought into it before, how similar, like, witches, wizards, spellcasters are to fairies. But a lot of people have been pointing it out lately, and it's like, yeah, hopefully they got some other things going on. Oh, about this bedroom before I keep going with that. So this is a vacation rental, not an actual lived-in home. This is a home for your Sims to rent for vacation in Sulani. I don't know if I mentioned that at the beginning of the video, but we're more than halfway in now, and I just realized that I should mention that because the bedrooms are set up really weird, almost hotel style. We've got a bunk room there, and then we've got 2 rooms with double beds, and now I'm putting a crib and a toddler bed in the what looks to be the primary room. Yeah, that's because this is like Airbnb inspired, VRBO inspired. It's vacation rental home inspired. So I think that's an important detail to note. Anyways, back to the fairies. While I will love fairies and I hope they are different than spellcasters, it's the implication of all the nature related stuff. I've been playing like my own personal save on my own time lately, and I've been trying to do like a off-grid simple living. Side note, you can't really play off-grid and simple living at the same time. It doesn't really work. No matter how many solar panels and stuff you have on your lot, it doesn't really work all that well. And it's kind of annoying because I feel like those two should go together really well. And you should, like, I get not being able to cook a great many things in the beginning if you have 0 solar panels or 1 or 2 solar panels. But if you have 20 solar panels on your lot, you should be able to cook pretty much everything. And some things are still locked simply because you have not simple living, off the grid turned on. That's really annoying to me. And this is about the major of the landscaping you get for this lot, by the way. I loathe landscaping, but even more so on beach lots. It just never looks right to me, although that one didn't turn out too bad. So anyways, I'm more looking forward to, I like having the fairies, the idea of having the fairies in there, but I'm more looking forward to the nature stuff. And on another side note, I keep getting sidetracked, I'm so sorry. That is actually a planter from Journey to Batu. I did actually end up buying it, and I do have it in my game now. And some of the stuff in it is kind of nice for modern builds. I can see how some of it can be useful. So anyways, back to the fairies. I don't know what all is going to be involved. It's a full expansion pack, so I'm expecting a lot. Hopefully I'm not super disappointed in that. But, I'm more looking forward to the nature, living in nature, living with nature. Like, my favorite packs are cottage living, eco lifestyle, and then all of the other little stuff that comes as side parts to other packs and things, like the goats and the sheep from Horse Ranch, and some of the stuff that comes with Horse Ranch and things like that. Like, again, as much as I sort of dislike this part of my personality, I am very much a country girl at heart. And I love all things nature and wild and green and flowery, and I feel very connected to nature, and I like not necessarily being in nature directly, but having a lot of nature surrounding me. My actual ideal house would be a house that's made of all windows all the way around the outside, so that I could have like this big fairy garden all the way around my house, but not actually have to be out there with the bugs and dirt and stuff. I could stay clean and safe and healthy and everything, but see the nature on the other side of the glass. Does that make me weird? Yes, but that's how I am. Anyways, we're on to the walkthrough here in a second, so let's do that. This is technically the front of the lot, but it's like the front back. It is technically the front entrance where your Sims come in, but it's like the back. They don't care about that part of the lot. They care about the other part of the lot where the beach is. We have an entryway mudroom type place. Then we have a little sitting area where you can read and look out over the ocean and just have some quiet time. Here is bedroom number 1, double bed. Anybody can use it, children on up. Then we have what basically amounts to the primary bedroom, but also with beds for younger children, toddlers, infants, that kind of stuff. Then we have the third bedroom, which is the bunk room, which can hold up to 4 children and or teenagers. And then we have the downstairs bathroom, nice big full-size bathroom with access directly out to the patio and beach, so that when you're out there and you need to use the bathroom or whatever, you can come directly into the bathroom rather than going through the sitting area. Then of course we have the back patio or deck or whatever, and the beach and the water right there to swim in. I put lots of windows everywhere so that you could be inside but outside at the same time if you wanted. And then we have the main living quarters upstairs, the kitchen, the living room. We have a second full-size bathroom up here for use in case there's a very large family living here. A nice big kitchen, big dining table for lots of Sims to play here. A nice quiet balcony overlooking the ocean. Just somewhere to sit and contemplate Sim life. I guess. Like, I didn't know what else to do with this balcony. It's just there for looks, honestly. We do have a TV area, a game table, and a toy area for the little ones for rainy days or early evenings when Sims have had too much sun and they need to just come inside and relax, but they still want to overlook the ocean. And there you have it. If you enjoyed this build, if you're enjoying my videos or my channel, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.